Hi and welcome back. I hope you really enjoyed learning about agricultural practices in the last chapter. It's time to take the next step in our learning expedition. In this part of the journey, we are going to learn all about microorganisms. Now the term microorganisms might sound a little familiar to you. You're right, we learned about microorganisms in the last chapter too. We saw how these microorganisms decomposed plant and animal waste to create this very nutritious material called compost. But remember, not just that, we also saw when we stored the grains, the same microorganisms decayed the grain and made it unfit for consumption. Right? Now, these are the microorganisms that we are going to study in this chapter. But before we dig deeper, I want to talk to you about something really interesting. Now, do you know that all humans, me, you, everyone you know, and in fact, everyone on this planet has evolved from a species of animal before them through this process of evolution. Do you know which animal that is? You probably do, but I'll give you a hint anyways. It looks a little bit like us, but is hairy all over. Sometimes it walks on 2 feet and can hold objects in the hand just like us, but it has a tail too. Yeah, you guessed it right. It's monkeys. Now, why are we talking about monkeys and evolution in this chapter about microorganisms? I'll tell you why. Just like you and me, just like humans, in fact, all living organisms that live on Earth today, be it small or large, be it plants or animals, every single one of them has evolved from some species of animal or plant before them. And if you build an ancestry tree going back billions of years, it all actually started with these small, little, tiny, simple, single-celled organisms that are so small that we can't even see with our naked eyes. Now, do you know another word that means small? Yeah, micro. This word micro comes from the Greek word mikros, which means really small. These organisms that are really small are called microorganisms. Now, isn't it really amazing that all the living beings that you see on Earth today actually evolved from these small little organisms? This process is called evolution and it's just mind-blowing. I really encourage you to look at this video to understand more about this process. But let's come back. Now, these microorganisms that were first developed billions of years ago actually exist all around us even today. Now, one question. Do you know what a common goal for all living organisms is? Well, it is actually to survive and to reproduce. Now, just like us, these microorganisms have the same goals too. They search for food and good living environment to survive, and then they reproduce so that their generations can thrive over many years. But in the process, they interact with the environment around us, including us. And sometimes they are very useful to us, but sometimes very dangerous. And in this chapter, we are going to look at all about microorganisms and how they interact with us in detail.